All right, I am going to attempt my very first live stream, so bear with me if this does not go as planned. So what we are going to do today is we are going to draw a picture of Wolverine as a sheep. So let's get our handy dandy little sketch pad ready. I'm just going to check to make sure it's recording, because that is important when you're doing a live stream, so I hear. All right, so here we go. Here's our inspiration guide back here. Got a ton of wires. I don't know. Oh, I figured out the zoom. This is a learning experience. All right, here we go. So we got our happy little Wolverine back here. So like we said, we're gonna start with a sheep. So I'm gonna do this while holding it, which is not ideal, but we're just gonna wing it. So let's undo that. Gonna zoom in a little bit so we get a little bit finer detail. So we're going with a sheep. So we're gonna do a poofy little head thing. So there we go. And there's that. Let's see, what else does a sheep have? Sheeps, I believe, have eyes. So we will do, I don't think sheeps is I think plural is sheep, so I apologize. And we'll do a happy little face on this guy. Since we're doing Wolverine, he does have a nose, and I am not a fan of that, so let's undo this. All right. So if anyone who is not familiar with this version of Wolverine, he was formerly a human who was turned into a sheep, along with the rest of the X-Men, because now they are no longer men. Now they are farm animals. So, and they fight against Magneto, who wishes to bring farm to all humans. So we've got that. That's a happy little sheep right there. And let's draw a, oh, we got a little bonus dot on there. So let's take that off. And we have an ear. And let's see, we don't want to do another ear over here. So that means we need to cross out some of this. So we're going to switch to our eraser. And there we go. Oh, I must have accidentally bumped it with my hand because it, there we go. So now we have our happy little sheep. Not quite Wolverine yet, but bear with me, and then we will turn him into a sheep. Or we're going to turn him into Wolverine. And he could fight amongst his other farm animals. Like, I think there's some other X-Men that are on the farm that he lives on. Like, there's two pigs that he fights alongside. There's a Hambit and Cyclops. Never play cards with Hambit. He could charge things up. He could throw things. And then there's Cyclops, who just lives in an absolute mess, but he can shoot lasers from his eyes, so no one really says anything to him. So that's the good thing about having laser eyes, is you could pretty much do what you want. Same thing with this Wolverine, is that no one's going to mess with him because he's got the claws. This version, everyone will mess with him because he's not quite a formidable superhero yet, but he will be. And then, oh, listen to me, bub, you're not going to want to mess with this guy. All right, so we're almost done with our poofy little sheep. So we got so cuddly. And we'll draw little feet on him. And we got one more leg back here. All right, so, oops, take that off. And let's get a tail back here. I'm trying not to touch my hand on it because it'll change my zoom. All right, so that is our base for our Wolverine. So what we're going to do now is let's add another layer on here. And we're going to do some additional drawing on the other layer. So the most iconic thing about Wolverine, I would say, is his mask. So let's start, I would say, second most. When you see Wolverine, you think claws. So I would say claws are probably the most iconic thing. Mask is definitely second, though. If you see that mask, better be expecting the claws. All right, so he comes with like a nose piece, and he's got those big wing eyes. Now let's have that going right to his face. All right, so that's starting to look pretty good. He's got a wing on the other side. I don't like that one quite so much. It needs to be a little bit more curved, so I'm going to actually start over here so I can control how far it goes out. That is pretty good. All right, so now what we also have is he's got beady little eyes underneath that mask. So let's do that. And since we're drawing a layer on top, what I think we can do, so if we turn this off, oh, so I missed a spot because I was going to color it in. And then what we can do if we color it in is it'll start covering up what's below it so that it'll look pretty good. So the coloring of this one, let's go to fill, and that's black. And then for the eyes, we can do that as white. Bloop, bloop. Turn off the fill. All right, so that is looking pretty good. So what's the next thing we want to do? So let's do the top piece. So he's got this fun little poof up here. Actually, we might want to keep that. I'm not sure. So if we want to keep his poof, we just need to add a top piece to it. So we're going to take this. Oh, I'm on white. That would have been embarrassing. All right, so we're going to draw his top. And then he's got some, it's kind of like his hair. All right, and then this Wolverine is going to be able to hang out with some of his other buddies. Like there's a Beast of Burden, and then he'll be able to do fun things with Beast. Like move things, big rocks, farm equipment, plows, all that good stuff. All right, so now we've got the gray hair up there. And let's see, if we turn this off, does that... So we don't have a full piece here. So if we draw a little bit of a line there, we'll be able to fill this one in. So let's go back to our black. And for this, it was just this little piece here. Oops. Turns out I was still on the fill. Turn that off. All right, plug that in. So now for this, that is going to be yellow. If we need any reference, we can check out our Wolverine. That is yellow. So let's pick out a good yellow for our Wolverine. I'd say that one. Then once we pick it once, we can always use the copy, so we can always get the same color again, so we don't have to remember. All right. That is a good looking Wolverine. And I go back to black. All right. And then, I don't know if you've ever gone to a farm in the mutant world. If you always hear the screaming, it's the loud siren song. That is it's kind of like a loud, shrill, but almost like a batting, bat. The sound a sheep makes. It's band sheep. He just wears his green and yellow and just runs around and accidentally fills in his picture. All right, so we are on fill. All right, let's go back to this. So we have the rest of his mask. So let's color this in. And now for here, let's finish off his mask. So it's going to connect here. And he's going to have his sheep mutton chops. Actually, that is kind of offensive. To give a sheep mutton chops, I could be wrong, but isn't mutton made from sheep? I apologize to Wolverine and all the sheep out there watching this video. That was relatively insensitive. So, and we're drawing that. All right, so for this, it actually should be the black color as well. So we do got to color this piece in right here, which actually I should just do the fill just to make it look pretty consistent. So we run this. We're going to draw that guy. Now we're going to fill with, there we go. So we are going to get rid of the ears later. So you can see him behind there, but for this version, we can just say that they're going to be tucked in beneath his mask. So let's take off the fill. Actually, let's see. So we have to still do this piece and his mouth. There we go. And now for his mouth, we did a happy little sheep before who was smiling. But I don't know if we've ever seen Wolverine smile. So let's give him a little bit of a disgruntled sheep look. So that's the face of a sheep who just heard my mutton comment before. All right, so he looks pretty unhappy about that. And now let's come up with a fun color for him. So I'd say we're going to make this sheep a little bit tan. So that looks good. Let's fill him in. And bloop. Oh, and bloop. All right, so there we go. Back to our coloring. All right, so now we get the fun task of making his outfit. So if we look at our reference Wolverine, he's got those black, almost tiger stripes. They're on his body and his shoulders. So let's start with the shoulder ones. That's the official sound of a tiger stripe for Wolverine, in case anyone was not aware. And now let's do the ones on his belly. So let's add a focus. All right, so we have his belly redrawn. And then let's add these tiger stripes in. So 1, 2, 3. Now, if we turn this off, we should be able to fill those in. So let's do a fill. So as I fill them in as I go, it also helps keep track of what's drawn and what's still left to be done. So now let's do some shoulder pads, shoulder artwork. So we have one big shoulder pad, which is going to be blue. And then we've got his little poofy arm. So we're just going to redraw this. It's almost like tracing at this point. And then we are going to get the good stuff, which is the claws. So we're not going to draw the detail on the feet. What we're going to do is we're just going to assume that he's wearing his gloves, so we don't have to really add the little cloven hooves on there, because you can't really see the detail. I don't know if you've ever been a sheep who goes out on the town. People can't really see your hooves too much. I'm not sure if people are really looking for them as you're at the club, but you know, just trying to be realistic as drawing my mutant sheep, as realistic as I can be. All right, so now we got the fun part. Well, this is all the fun part. So Oh, if we just drew that, it would have turned our entire picture to the same color. And then in here, we went a little bit too nuts with this guy. So we are going to take a little bit out. All right, so now we want to color them in. So let's do the dropper and then grab the color that we want, which is the sheep's wool. And we are going to paint his arms and this part is going to be blue because that's going to be the gloves. And then once we do that, we're going to draw the claws on there. So I think that's a pretty decent blue. Yeah, I like it. All right, so now we're on the dropper, or sorry, not the dropper, we're on the fill. So we got that, and then this shoulder pad up here, and the one that we accidentally colored over. Sorry for looping you into this by saying we, but we're in this together. So, and I don't like that. I'll just keep it with a little white. I could always touch it up later. So we will. Now what we need to do is we need to get the, I don't know what I want to do. I might just draw them straight silver, and then I might add some black around them. I think, let me try that, see how that looks, because they are kind of shiny claws. Actually, that doesn't look, yeah, that looks pretty good. So yeah, I think I might just go with this. I might not add the black around them, because if you add the black, they're going to look pretty thick, which I don't, no one wants thick claws, because then you're pretty much just carrying around swords on your hands, and then people are going to judge you. That's just weird. Have you ever gone into a grocery store with either swords on your hands or scissors? People are always making Edward Scissorhand jokes, which it's funny the first few times you hear it, but then after a few more times, you're just like, you know what? I should probably just not wear scissors on my hands. And then people are always asking for haircuts. Oh, looks like we got some comments. Mutant sheep at the club. I feel included. No one wants swords on their hands. Hello, Momkey. So now, what else are we gonna do? So we still have to color in. I think we have the face going. So we colored in this part, but we can't do this. So this is, the mutton chops are the wool color. So we'll do the dropper again. We'll get the wool going and we'll fill that in. All right, I think that, yeah, we missed that part. All right, so now let's go back to our black and finish drawing some of the rest of the outfit. All right. So along with the other sheep and pig X-Men that we noted before, there are some pretty famous goat X-Men on the team. Like Jean Goat is a famous one. She has the telekinesis. She could move cans of garbage with her mind, so then she could eat them without having to walk too far. She could also read your thoughts, so she can know where to find the cans. All of my goat references are usually eating can related, which I don't even know if they do that too often, but at least in my mind they do, and in the mutant farm X-Men they do. So we're just gonna have to deal with that. So I can't recall if I did this line, so I'm just gonna turn this off for a second. I did not. So then, oops, I gave it the double hit. All right, the other famous goat X-Men, I think I said there was two of them, is she was named after the sound a goat makes, and she's actually it's Jubileet. It looks better on paper. Bleat, like I shouldn't have to explain my jokes, so I apologize. I should have just abandoned that one. I just couldn't do it. All right, so for this one, actually, I'm gonna undo what I just did. So this is the boot. So if I draw the line, we should actually figure out how to get the boots going so that we don't have to undo anything. So let's see. I accidentally drew a bonus line over there. So they come to points and then come in and then come in. So actually that wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. And then since he's got the boot on there, we don't have to do the detail, same as the gloves. And there we go. And let's see. Do we want to add the detail of the black? I'd say why not. And does it go all the way down to the tip? It does. So if we start here and we go all the way over, there's a nice black accent on that. And let's see how far it went. It's getting confusing with the other piece on there, so we're just going to turn that off for a second. And I don't think I'm going to fill this one in. I think we can just color it in because the fill will look weird. And what we can do after we do this is if we just use the fill and click on the line, it'll just add an extra layer of thickness and color to it. So where you see it kind of two-toned here, that'll all be fixed. So we don't have to worry about that. Just in case you're ever playing around with one of these, some tricks I've found along the way. And we gotta draw his other leg. Otherwise he would have a floating boot and people would be scared. And then they'll realize that he's a sheep mutant with claws for his hands, and they'll just feel safe. All right, so let's draw his other boot here. And there we go. And perfect. And there. So now if we draw the black line on his boot, and that looks pretty good. And if I make any mistakes, what I can do is I can always go back in time. And how I would go back in time to fix my mistakes, of course, I would go to oh, I got 15% to make this work. Sorry, I got distracted by the battery. Yeah, so if I ever make a mistake on my drawing, what I can do is I can go back in time with the help of one of the other mutant sheep X-Men, Bishop. So what he can do is he can help me out, go back in time, maybe remind me to charge my sketch pad before I start drawing, so this way I don't have to rush. But I'm not going to rush. I think 15% is plenty of time. And now we get to draw our favorite part, the undies. So we're going to do a nice little pair of shorts on here. And he's got his nice red belt. So we've got that. And you know what? I think we could actually have it attached to it. There's a little bit of yellow there, but I think if we just pick it up over here, we can connect it through. All right, so now we get to color this guy in. So we want in his red belt. And we already have some blue, so of course his underoos are going to be blue. So let's use the same color we have and color those in. What is it? Apparently it did not like my blue selection. And now it thinks it's black. So I'm not having too much luck with this dropper right now. I don't know what's going on. All right, there we go. All right, so now we got his undies and his boots. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And now we have his legs, which the normal Wolverine, his legs are yellow. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to make this poofy part probably the color of his gray, and then we'll make the leg part yellow, just because there is a difference on them. So we just need to make a decision, and it's going to be gray. All right, so we've got our fill. We'll do that, that, and that. Then I think, oh, we also got one more up here. Because I think we turned that white before. I can't remember. I don't know. It looked like it changed colors. All right, so now what we're going to do is we need our nice classic Wolverine yellow, which we've already selected that one. So we've got that. All right, so this Wolverine is actually looking pretty good. So what we can do now is we can turn off the one in the background. Oops, sorry. Turn off the one in the back. And that is, let's add some, this is our Wolverine. All right, well, that was my very first live stream. I hoped you enjoyed. I had fun doing it. All right. Oh, Mom Key is saying we need the joke. All right, do I have any more jokes? All right, some other farm animal mutants. We've got the one who could shoot lasers. He's also got horns, hates the color red. That's K-Bull, one of the best bovine X-Men. We have another goat X-Men who you can't pet because she will steal your powers and your cans. Rogue Goat. Oh, and there's also that really famous X-Men storyline, the Age of Alpacalypse, and him and his 4 horsemen, which that one pretty much tells itself. So, all right, so that's what I got. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe I'll post this video either as a short or something. And my computer just died, or the thing just died. All right, so the timing was perfect. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Now I just got to figure out how to end this. So you might see some hands moving around as I try to figure this one out. I think that's it. Have a good one.